If you've watched television or movies, you've certainly seen chroma key technology in action. When you chroma key a shot, you basically replace a subject's background with a different background. The background you typically replace is a very bright shade of green or blue so that you can easily sample the color that you want to replace, since most people typically don't wear those colors. That's why this process is often called green screen technology. Now, we'll just be scratching the surface of this workflow, but if you want to learn more about it, there are some great courses available on lynda.com to teach you everything you need. Now let's take a look at our interview shots here. As we know, they've been shot in front of a green screen, and now it's finally time to replace the green with something else. So the first thing I'm going to do is to drag all of my V2 and V1 clips up a level. And the reason for this is that we're going to actually put a background on V1. So I'm going to option lasso everything so that I grab my video and not my audio. And I'm just going to drag up. And we'll go ahead and take this image here. I'll load it into the source monitor to show you what it looks like. So it's just an image of the press room. And I'll go ahead and just drag this down to V1 right under my interviews and expand it all the way across. And let's turn off V2 and V3 so we can just take a look at this. To simulate a sort of depth of field where our subjects are in focus and this is sort of out of focus, I'm going to go ahead and apply an effect. I'm going to apply that Gaussian blur to this background, and let's go ahead and click on it and go to the effects controls and just bump up the blurriness a little bit, like so. I'll go ahead and turn on V2 for now. I'll leave off V3 since we have some B-roll covering stuff up and we want to see our interview subjects. I'm going to go ahead and click on Kelly's shot, and I'm going to search for the Ultra Keyer, which is Premiere Pro's chroma keyer, and I'm just going to drag that right on. And you'll notice that right away it doesn't do anything. It actually wants you to sample the key color. So I'm going to click here on the eyedropper and then just click right here on the green. All right, so it's tried to remove much of the green and we see our background underneath, but it does need a little bit of help. You can see up here it's not too clean. So I'm going to switch from composite to alpha channel, and that will allow me to see things a little bit more clearly. So what we want is for her to be completely white and for the background to be completely black. And it's not, there's a lot of gray. All of that gray represents a translucent area that is going to partly key out the green, but not cleanly. So the goal is to adjust these parameters until we have a clean black and a clean white. So I'm just going to take a look at a couple of these parameters so that we can fix this as best as possible without getting too technical. One of the good ones is setting, and I'm going to change this to aggressive. And it's still not good enough, so I'm going to go down to matte generation, and I'm just going to kind of cherry pick some of these settings without going into too much detail. But basically, I like to go from top to bottom, writing these back and forth until I have a clean key. So I'll start with transparency, and then highlight. Not much there. Shadow, and get rid of most of that in the lower right. All right, that's pretty good, but certainly not scientific. Again, if you would like to know what each of these parameters does, check out the other courses on lynda.com. For now, I'm going to switch back from alpha channel to composite and take a look. This is looking pretty good. A lot of the sketchy areas up in the upper left and lower right are fine now. I don't see through them at all. A little bit of work needs to be done around her, actually. So I'm going to come to matte cleanup, and choke is going to kind of remove some of that glow around her hair. And I'm just going to up the choke just a little bit, and you can see that that edge is sort of taken off. And I also like to sort of soften that edge as well. And I'm just going to play and make sure that she looks good when she's actually talking.
Comes to letterpress, I get giddy and excited.
All right, I think she's looking pretty good. So I would just go down the line and do this for each of my interviews. Of course, she does talk again right here, so you can always copy and paste. I can just take my Ultra key and Command C, and then come over to Kelly and press Command V, and she's looking good here as well. So I would then just need to go down and do Doug and Felicia and Anita. But as you can see, the Ultra Keyer does a pretty good job. So that's a very brief glimpse into the world of chroma keying. The Ultra Keyer usually does a nice job, like I said, of producing nice clean keys. And again, I encourage you to watch Green Screen Techniques for Video and Photography to learn all the ins and outs of this very cool process.